We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that. The Truman Show says it. Social and political polarization is at an all-time high. Conspiracy theories, strong opinions, and stereotyping are taking over social media channels. I don't point this out to scare you, but it is so important that we are well informed, especially when it comes to our students and what they are consuming online. Why students are more affected by fake news than adults? UNICEF published Digital Misinformation and Disinformation and Children, where they describe children as active users of online resources who do not always have the cognitive and emotional capacity to distinguish between reliable and unreliable information. As a result, not only can they be harmed by misinformation and disinformation, but it may also spread among their peers. Children can be targets and objects of mis and disinformation because many find themselves more connected to social media and the online world than their parents or caregivers and educators. With increased digital use comes increased exposure to mis and disinformation. In the 2020 German study on the disinformation in the corona crisis, more young people are confronted with fake news. 76% of 14 to 24 years old reported seeing online mis and disinformation at least once a week, a rise of 50% on the previous 2 years. In the United Kingdom, the 2018 Commission on Fake News and Critical Literacy in schools found that only 2% of children and young people have the critical literacy skills they need to judge whether a news story is real or false. A majority, 60% of teachers surveyed believe that fake news is having a far harmful effect on children's well-being by increasing anxiety, damaging self-esteem, and shaping their worldview. The study found that children from disadvantaged backgrounds were the least likely to spot fabricated or misleading content, signaling that families with low level of education or literacy are particularly at risk. 60% of children reported that they trust news less as a result of fake news. The Commission concluded that fake news is a serious problem for children and young people, threatening their well-being, trust in journalism, and democracy itself. 2 years ago, Netflix released a documentary called The Social Dilemma. It is full of eye-opening interviews about how social media and sites like Facebook, YouTube, Google, Twitter, and others can manipulate users to stay engaged on the site so they can make money. It shares the dark side of the internet, but it is not something that is brand new. One of the main problems that the social dilemma discusses is the danger of fake news. They quote an MIT study that found fake news on Twitter spreads 6 times faster than true news. Just think about that. 6 times faster. How are our students supposed to know what is reality when false information is spreading at a much faster rate? These social media platforms have algorithms that target users and put them in an echo chamber so that they will continue coming back to the site. And as you scroll through your feed, you might think, how can they believe that? Don't they see the facts? Don't they see the information I am seeing? But they don't, because their feed looks drastically different than yours. The algorithm could set off a chain of events like this. You like a friend's post about their trip to Paris, and then a video pops up about the top 10 attractions in Paris. Then you go down a rabbit hole of watching families take surprise Disneyland trips. And then a Disneyland vacation group is recommended. And then events coming up in Paris start popping up on your feed. And then you see ads for Disneyland travel agents, then plane tickets and Paris hotels, and it goes on and on. And this is a light-hearted example of how social media can take you down a path where you find yourself on a plane to Paris for a week-long vacation at Disneyland. But it can also manipulate your thoughts on COVID-19, on the election, and more. It can quickly give you information you agree with and polarize you from others who maybe weren't originally that different from you. The social dilemma said, we have less and less control over who we are and what we really believe. Eating disorders expert Brian Austin, professor at the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences at Harvard, gave an interview to the university site about how the Instagram app is making body image issues worse for teens and particularly girls. We've known for years that social media platforms, especially image-based platforms like Instagram, have very harmful effects on teen mental health, especially for teens struggling with body image, anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. From experimental research, we know that Instagram, with its algorithmically driven feeds of content tailored to each user's engagement patterns, can draw vulnerable teens into a dangerous spiral of negative social comparison and hook them onto unrealistic ideals of appearance and body size and shape. Instagram's business model is predicated on how much they can manipulate users' behavior to boost engagement and extend time spent on the platform, which the platform then monetizes to sell to advertisers. Instagram is literally selling users' attention. The company knows that strong negative emotions, which can be provoked by negative social comparison, keep users' attention longer than other emotions. And Instagram's algorithms are expressly designed to push teens toward toxic content so that they stay on the platform. For teens struggling with body image, anxiety, or other mental health issues, negative social comparison is a dangerous trap, intensifying their engagement with the platform while worsening their symptoms. But with Instagram's business model, every additional minute of users' attention, regardless of the mental health impact, translates into more profits. However, this is not just about putting teens in a bad mood. Over time, with exposure to harmful content on social media, the negative impacts add up. And now, we have more cause for worry than ever, with the pandemic worsening mental health stressors and social isolation for teens, pushing millions of youth to increase their social media use. We are witnessing dramatic increases in clinical level depression, anxiety, and suicide attempts, and eating disorders cases have doubled or even tripled at children's hospitals in the US.